This man Sung Jinwoo has gone through some shit. Like, man's just came out of a red gate where he had to risk his life to save people he didn't even know. Dude has the S-rank hunter Hwang Dong-soo after his ass too, and now he's hunting for him earlier than expected. And now there's this humanoid beast running around who has the strength of a whole A-rank dungeon. On top of that, the Chimera ants from Jeju Island are evolving to the point where they can now fly to other countries and attack different places with civilians. And these ants are so powerful, they gave S-rank hunters like Baekhyun-ho a run for their money. So, suffice to say, our boy needs a training arc, some kind of break to get away from all this shit. But don't worry, that's what these next two arcs are for. What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the Solo Leveling Experience, the series where I look into and break down every single solo leveling story arc. Last time we covered the wild-ass Red Gate arc. Now we are covering two different arcs that work as kind of like a setup for future story arcs. The first one being the Demon Castle arc, next one being the rank evaluation arc. Let's get into it. So, after the Red Gate and completing his last strike raid with Jin-ho, our boy decides to hop right into the smoke and try to enter that demon castle he got a key for a while ago. It's the same one that was being blocked off by Cerberus. Now that he's stronger now and is at least above A rank, he feels like he's ready to complete this mission. So he tells his sister he's heading out. Then upon entering the place, the first thing I notice is that this place looks a lot similar to Seoul, but this version of Seoul is in complete chaos, fam. Like, I don't know what happened, but the whole place is on fire. There are no humans walking around, like it's just a playground for devils. And Jin-woo notices this shit too, which means you know it's gonna become an important part of the story later. But now that he's here, he's given a quest by the system, which means whatever story arc the system is working off of, this quest will help fulfill that. He's told that he must collect 10,000 demon souls by killing all the demons in this area. Now this sounds like a lot, but the rewards he gets for this quest are freaking broken, fam. Not only does he get bonus stats, but he also gets to choose whatever item he wants from the system's item shop, as well as get a random undisclosed reward that he won't figure out until he finishes a quest. So with that incentive, he proceeds and bodies the fuck out of every demon in his path. Meanwhile, in the real world, Jin-ho is deadass trying to finesse his father. So y'all remember how Jin-ho was talking about how he wants to be the master of the Yujin Guild, the guild that his father's making? Now that the strike raids are finished, it's time to get to negotiating. So he sits down with his dad and he's like, yo dad, I'm trying to be the master of the Yujin Guild. Fuck my brother, fuck whoever you're gonna put in charge, it should be me. Main reason being, cause I'm your son. I'm not gonna while out and betray you like a hunter might if you decide to hire them instead. But Jin-ho's father's already onto his ass, bro. He's like, so, I hear you've been working with this dude named Sung Jinwoo. Don't know what you're trying to pull here, but I know this man has been carrying you for pretty much all the strike raids. So with that, Jin-ho's in a really bad spot. How you gonna be a guild leader when every single strike raid you were a part of didn't even need you? Jin-woo only needed Jin-ho so that they can get a hold of enough people to enter these raids. He could have done this all by himself. So what's stopping Jin-ho's father from hiring Jin-woo as a leader instead of Jin-ho? But regardless, he's like, you know what? Let's do it. You can be a leader of the Yujin Guild. However, the only way I'm gonna allow it is if you get Jin-woo to join our guild. So now this whole deal that Jin-woo and Jin-ho have is riding on Jin-ho getting Jin-woo into the guild. But the crazy thing is, Jin-ho's dad has a whole backup plan for this. He's already been trying to recruit Cha-hae, and if you don't remember Cha-hae, and she's that S-rank hunter who Kim was training a while ago, and some other retired hunter who's also pretty up there in the rankings. So now it's a race against time. If Jin-ho's father can recruit these guys before Jin-ho can recruit Jin-woo, then it's looking like Jin-ho's not gonna become the guild master. But with that, we move to another place in the real world, in the US. Remember that humanoid beast that showed up at the end of the last arc? Well, now he's here being interrogated, and sadly, no one here can interrogate him because he speaks Korean, and no one here speaks Korean, which means they are relying on Hwang Dong-soo, who's on his way back to America. If you don't remember, dude was over in Korea trying to start smoke with Sung Jinwoo early for no reason, but right now they're gonna use him to get as much information as they can about this humanoid beast. But what kills me is that y'all really don't have any other Korean translators outside of Hwang Dong-soo. Like, not only is it dumb to not have backup translators, but really, bro, you're relying on the most hot-headed hunter out there. Like, I feel like Hwang Dong-soo would act like he's translating, but then lie and be like, actually, he wants to smoke just so he can kill somebody. I don't trust this man at all. Personally, I feel like the moment he said he just wants to kill somebody in Korea, they should have arrested his ass. I don't give a fuck if he's from the Scavengers Guild in America. I don't give a fuck where he stays at. Put this man in prison. He is a problem. But anyway, even though these guys do not have a Korean translator, they did find out that this man's name is Sung Il-hwan. Now that's a really big clue because notice he has the same last name as Sung Jinwoo. Now back to Jinwoo in the Demon Castle. He finds out that this castle has a certain amount of floors and he has to clear each floor to clear the quest. He's going off, climbing, leveling up, getting a bunch of equips and shit. Then he makes it to the demon boss Vulcan and they square up. Now, I'ma be real with you. The fight between Sung Jinwoo and Vulcan is probably one of the more boring fights in solo leveling. Like, the art looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, and watching Sung Jinwoo summon his army is always great. But this all goes back to the whole thing with Sung Jinwoo not really having a lot of crazy obstacles right now blocking his path. Like, Vulcan seems hard, but not hard enough for Jinwoo to break a sweat, you know? Like, it seems like he dispatches him pretty easily. The main reason why I find it so boring is because the stakes aren't there. Like, I walked into this fight knowing Sung Jinwoo was gonna win. And I don't know, it just feels like Vulcan wasn't really a problem. Like, he was really fodder for Jinwoo to train with. And unfortunately, this seems to start a pattern of a lot of Jinwoo's fights just kind of being, you know he's not gonna lose. It'll look good, but you're really gonna get Jinwoo at the point that he was at when he was fighting Igris, where you actually question whether or not he was going to die. But after the fight with Vulcan, we move back to America, where we see Hwang Dong-soo interviewing Sung Il-hwan. So as you guys probably guessed, Dong-soo is not doing a good job with the interrogation. It looks like he's just trying to fight this man. But mid-interrogation, Il-hwan drops some crazy ass plot. So he's like, how much do you really know about these beasts in these dungeons, fam? Since you're a hunter and all, and you guys are doing this for a living. Then after Dong-soo answers, Il-hwan tells him, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Beasts, dungeons, all that is pretty much F-rank shit. He speaks of a much bigger threat that's on its way and will bring the world to ruin. Now this part was probably the most exciting part about this whole arc, you know? I feel like the Jinwoo part was the boring section, but getting more plot like this is what I want. But after Dong-soo hears all this, Dong-soo peeps that Sung Il-hwan has a family. And it's revealed that, as you probably guessed, Sung Il-hwan is Sung Jinwoo's father. Now, upon my first read, this confused the fuck out of me because from what I remember, we didn't hear about what happened to Sung Jinwoo's dad. We were just told Jinwoo was a trash-ass hunter and his mom is sick. That was it. So I was over here thinking his dad died or some shit, not that he went missing. So Dong-soo, feeling all cocky, is like, oh, guess what, bitch? Your son is dead. I went over to Korea and saw it myself. He went in the red gate and there is no way he came out alive. Obviously, Dong-soo does not know that Sung Jinwoo is also Sung Dripwoo and he will never die to some measly shit like a red gate. But this shit sets Il-hwan off. And from seeing the mouse in the room, Dong-soo's immediately like, this is what I wanted. Yo, Chief, this guy, he ain't a human, he a beast. Straight up lies to the man just so he could challenge him to a fight. But before we get into that shit, we have to go back to Jinwoo and his journey in the Demon Castle. So, he makes it to the top floor after beating Vulcan and he collects all of his demon souls. Upon completing the quest, he gets his bonus stats. From the item he could pick from the shop, he gets a cursed gift box which gives him an unnamed key. And for the random item, he gets a blueprint for the holy water of life. Now, this item is very important because it's basically a cure-all. It can cure whatever the fuck you need it to cure, which means he doesn't need money to help his mom. He can just give her this potion. But unfortunately, right now, he's not strong enough to continue climbing up the Demon Castle because there's still more for him to do. So he decides to bow out for now, and now he's more set on completing this shit because he knows that if he does, he could most likely heal his mother. But the one problem I have at this moment is that when he makes this realization, he also realizes that he's an S rank now, which is pretty fast for what's going on in the plot. Like, we're still around chapter 60, 61, and he's an S rank already? We're not even halfway through the manhwa. And though there are levels above S rank, it kind of bothered me because I always felt like Hwang Dong-soo was gonna be this bigger threat that Jinwoo works towards. It seems like he's already ready to handle Hwang Dong-soo. So it feels like even though this fight is getting hyped up, we're gonna enter this fight knowing Jinwoo's gonna win, which is not what I want. I like when we can get into conflict and I don't know whether the protagonist is gonna die or not. That's what makes it so intense. But that is that for Jinwoo. Back in America, bro, shit blew up literally. So before Hwang Dong-soo and Il-hwan got into their fight, Dong-soo told the guys in America to clear out the building because they were gonna go off. And boy did they go off, but Dong-soo ain't looking too hot, fam. Il-hwan bodied this man so bad, the person who was in charge of keeping track of Il-hwan said it didn't even seem like a fight. This man really manhandled Dong-soo, and Dong-soo was talking all the shit. But hey, this is what he gets. The only sad part is that a whole building had to get destroyed just so that Dong-soo Dong-soo would get the sense knocked into him. But with that, we leave the Demon Castle arc and hop into the reevaluation arc. So now that Sung Jinwoo knows that he's S rank, it's time for a reevaluation. If you don't know what a reevaluation is, for hunters, if you feel like you went above your rank, which is not common, you're allowed to go and get a reevaluation to see if you are no longer at the same rank that you were at when you started. So Jinwoo goes in, gets his reevaluation, but the mana meter cannot measure his potential. Originally, they think this shit is broken, but it turns out when it can't measure your mana, that means you're just too powerful for the shit, which pretty much establishes that Sung Jinwoo is an S rank hunter. He's now the 10th S rank hunter in South Korea. And this causes a huge uproar. Everyone's like, bro, when was the last time we had an S rank hunter? This is wild. Then enter the person they call the ultimate hunter, Choi Jung-in. So Choi Jung-in is a leader of the Hunters Guild. And I'm gonna be real with you, he's like, you know, I feel like in moments like these, you're supposed to see a character and like be intrigued, like, oh my god, his presence is so astounding, like, who is he? I want to know more about him. But both in my first and now in my second read, I don't really care about him, bro. Like, they're talking about how he's so strong and he's the best fire user, but his power is literally just fire. Baek-yun-ho, his power is way cooler. He's already way up there in my book. Choi Jung-in, he just seems like a cocky glasses kun who's mad strong and expects the world. So Choi Jung-in sees Jin-woo and he's like, haha, I see you are a man of culture. Why don't you join my guild so we can both be strong together? But obviously Jin-woo feels the same way I do because he straight up ignores the guy, then just dips, leaves without saying a word. But unfortunately, after Jin-woo leaves, Baek-yun-ho shows up, and Baek-yun-ho is not good at not making things look hot. He makes it pretty obvious that he rushed over here to try and recruit Jin-woo now that he knows that he's an S rank hunter. And Choi Jung-in peeped, so he's like, I see there are other people who are after this man. Copy, we have competition. Anyway, after that whole debacle, Jin-woo goes to the hospital to visit his mom. It's revealed that the sickness that his mom has is called internal slumber. It's a new sickness that came out around the time when the dungeon started showing up, and there is no cure whatsoever. But after visiting his mom and thinking about how dope it's gonna be when he's able to bring her back, he gets a visit from the head of the Hunters Association, Go Gun-hee. Now, Gun-hee is my fucking guy, bro. Straight up from just the design, like, dude looks like he's about it. And the fact that Jin-woo saw him, tested his power level, and was like, oh nah, this is the real deal, made me like him even more. He explains the Hunters Association is meant to keep track of hunters because, as we all know, hunters be wildin' sometimes. He's basically like, straight up, I'm getting old, bro. I can't police these hunters by myself like this. We need someone strong, someone who doesn't afraid of anything. We need you, Sung Jinwoo. And Jinwoo seriously thinks about this. Like, it doesn't just brush it off like it's just another random request. Because Gun-hee is right. Like, it's one thing to make your bread as a hunter, but you need reliable people to keep these guys in check so they don't blow up a city just for shits and giggles. However, Jinwoo's like, nah, bro, I belong in the dungeons. Which sounds crazy, but it makes sense because if he only stays as a Hunter Association person, he can only do certain types of raids, which means he won't be able to fight strong enough opponents to actually level up. And though Gun-hee really does want him to join the Hunter Association, he loves the response. Afterwards, he's even like, bro, my heart hasn't beat so fast in so long. That kid is different. So even though Jinwoo did not join the Hunter Association, Go Gun-hee is still gonna look out for him. He's still the bro, so we don't have to worry about there being any aggression towards these guys. All that aggression is being held by Hwang Dong-soo, who just woke up in America after getting his ass beat, yo. So we see this man all bandaged up, like he got a cast on his leg, on his arm, he has a neck brace. Dude is not looking good. So one of the higher ups in America is like, so you said this guy was a beast, right? I don't know, bro. In the middle of your fight, he was saving innocent people. What kind of beast does that? So he's trying to low-key come at Dong-soo for lying, but you don't truly come at Dong-soo when you're not a hunter because he probably will kill you. So Dong-soo takes that as like, whatever, I still say he's a beast. And now Dong-soo is not only ready to get revenge against Sung Jinwoo, but also Il-hwan. And Il-hwan is on his way to South Korea, which means some shit is gonna go down over there really soon. But that ends the reevaluation arc. With that, let me know how you guys felt about these two arcs. How did you guys feel about Sung Jinwoo's fights during this part of the plot? Did you care about them still? Were you kind of checking out like I was? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more of this whole leveling experience as they come out, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and hit that bell to stay notified. With that being said, be easy, stay lit, stay healthy out there, Black Lives Matter, and don't forget, you can do whatever the hell you put your mind to. All it takes is practice and time. Peace out, y'all.